Aloha, Canada. Welcome to day 3 of the 25 days of force majeure Christmas. And it's a process. It's a learning process, always, for the last many years. So, I'm going to start off with the Sakura Vandanam. Om Nityananda Paramasitanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadisham Tattvamasya Devaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvari Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Chiganaritam Sakurum Tam Namami Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Hopefully you're having a good evening. It's a little rainy here in Hilo. So I'm going to start off with what's on my board here, and that is male-centric, perpetuated, postured arrogance. Women are the source of life, entrusted to navigate life to land on planet Earth by Shiva Shakti, or the cosmos, mother and father, God, goddess. I will no longer acknowledge, accept narratives that insults cosmos by men enamored with the sounds coming out of their mouths. Fundamentally, that's what it is. Whether it's spoken or written, your ideas and concepts being perpetuated, what are we perpetuating? And I grasp stories are more entertaining, but thus far, despite trillions of books, there's narratives being perpetuated that is not all-inclusive, it's exclusive. Self-righteous supremacy, narcissism, because that's where the source of the narcissism is, fundamentally. And when you do the legal research and you go back and you go back, fundamentally, it comes down to women being thoroughly disrespected. You got all these people doing war, killing the babies, and then they expect women to have them, raise them, just to send them off to get killed or be killed. So fundamentally, it really starts from there. And what is that? Those are, it's not even one tribe. It comes down to how it started, one family. And so with colonizers and their grandiose ideas, they can do self-righteous justification of unity, but if it's unity in an open source, why isn't it as simple as a global peace treaty, global bureau of conveyance, and every family has their own trust, sovereignty, and corporations, and their own monies, when we should be basing money or time. Time is life. Time is not money. So when it becomes a one exchange based on the education is geared to gear everyone to be specializing in what they choose, and the trade becomes a 1 hour for 1 hour, there is no discrepancy and disparity. Those hierarchical constructs give way to ideas based off ego. And what we have today, to me, so you got all these grandpas waving around their crayon scribbles in the idea imagination of those who are in the body in the now, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm here. I have grandparents all the way to source of the Big Bang, or Adam and Eve, or whatever you want to call it. I am here. God is the entire cosmos. Whatever God you want to call it. Based off of your tradition, passing down those universal truths. That's why for me, preferring, because every guru has their holy book, the Living Enlightenment book Swamiji wrote to put out, because it's universal truths being taught through stories or different stories. It's not one main story, as well as healing, all of those things. Very practical, applicable at any time or any point in time for humanity, without the postured ego of who knows what with holy books like the Bible and the Quran, right? Very different mental setup, very different internal space, very different, very different. So it starts there, and then the next argument is who started the first, or who had the first law book, right? Or actually, no, before that is who had written communication. But it gets interesting, because for Hindus it's like a download telepathy kind of knowledge system. So then it's like, and then now they're trying to go back the other way. Well, we have telekinesis and clairvoyance and whatever, right? Oh, okay, right? How to navigate through that, right? Navigating through all kinds of claims. Most claims are ego, pride, centric claims, not founded in science, actual science. And that's what Hinduism and Hindu scriptures are. Hindu scriptures are, how they wrote it was based off of poetry. They used poetry to express those scientific findings. What a beautiful language, right? What a beautiful culture based off of that truth on how language came about, or verbal, written communications, and not just telepathy. Because telepathy is like this quick. Sometimes like this. You thoroughly understand and know where that person is from, or coming from, or talking about, or whatever. Sometimes it is an actual just conversation, but majority of the time it's just like check, 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 check. So with force majeure, so then going to the legalities. Who wrote language first? And then who wrote the first law book, and the law book universally used and implemented. That has open architecture, flexibility of subjective truths, because that's what spirituality is. Spirituality and its expressions, whether it's food, dance, music, exercise, arts, all of that. Those are expressions of subjective truths based on the love in one's heart that is overflowing. And so, based off of that subjective truth, that individual is going about doing what they are doing in society, in their life, or whatnot. So because that is a connection, a personal relationship and connection with God, whoever that individual and whatnot call upon as God. Now, we could all be having our own individual God, calling it individually what we want to, and then there's clusters who agree upon a name. Those are like vibe tribes or spiritual families, or on the other hand, families themselves can create their own traditions. Even within those clusters, each family creates their own unique traditions or whatnot, because you can't live everything. That's why reincarnation is such a beautiful truth, because you can try this and enjoy this life and go and do that the next life. You don't have to be greedy or anything about all of it. So, what's being perpetuated and lorded over through extortion, called taxation, to fund war and killing of things that have nothing to do with many, even down to like the Israel thing, you know, bless them, please bless them, just like the Hindu Holocaust, just like the Native American genocide. There is not one peoples who have not been massacred with the most barbaric and horrific things due to people choosing not to participate in anything to do with war or initiating force. And because the colonizers' constructs that they have forced on everyone to, and straitjacket to comply, I really don't want to hear about anyone's or any group of people's sob story as I'm trying to find the words, because if the individuals and those collectives do not return blood titles, so I'm talking to my peer group. Who is my peer group? My peer group are religious and spiritual leaders. Even in their middle management. I'm not talking about middle management. I'm talking Pope, Supreme Pontiffs, whatever. I'm talking to those people. That is my peer group. Why? Because I'm fully exercising my rights to start my own sampradaya. Why? None of those men can tell any woman, not just me, any woman, sorry, went flying, any woman who has been entrusted by the cosmos to navigate the unborn or the spirit into matter, energy into matter. No, none of them have any right, nor any woman. And even for me, I'm not trying to create a following, because it's like, no, I will never insert myself between any individual and God, or whoever they call upon as God. I'm very clear about that. And my conduct reflects as such, respecting all sacred sentiments without opinion. And the burn gets hard sometimes, but I surrender all of it to Cosmos, Paramashiva, Maha Paramashiva. everyone started living that way. And if they have agendas for a particular group of people, all those who have those kind of opinions should pack up their life and move over there. With all due respect. Otherwise, please zip your lip, because I had enough. Enough of everyone's sob story, because everyone has them. Some sob story of persecution for their religious beliefs, including myself. So in this seeking, due to where my feet are, and been blessed today with the actual download of that portion of what I do here, where my feet are contributing to the community, is investigative mediator. Because I'm not journaling. I am trying to bring solutions to this situationship that I'm a third party of, that has nothing to do with me. Only by association. Forced association, right? Forced association is not socialization. It gets very challenging juggling all of this mind-numbing bullshit called law and individual legalese and mapping it out. A vast majority of people avoid doing that, as well as the walking through the fire of that cluster. And individuals collectively ballistic shooting from the hip continuously. So navigating through all of that to be like, well, what is the truth? As well as finding that there are many individuals claiming king within Hawaii Kingdom and perpetuating their narrative even internationally. And it's not just one or two. At some point, right now, I'm still kind of slowly trying to sift through this and swim through this unknown. It's an unknown. And trying to be very respectful because this is what I gotta go through for whatever reason, because that's what Paramashiva has put me to do, and I keep saying yes and I keep showing up despite disrespect, use and abuse, carelessness, absolute disregard for my consciousness. Right? That's what spirituality is, individual consciousness. And most people make shit up on the fly. I get it. But when it comes to the collective reality, humanity is kind of done with that, right? When, because I'm holding this space, when there's a global peace treaty and a global bureau of conveyance and borders are no longer necessary. That's ground zero for me, right? Time is life. I'm time passing my life to get to that ground zero so that I can actually start really living my life on the right foundation. I'm holding that space in prayer and power, manifesting quantum quark blessings to somehow speeding up that process, because in the quantum level, science knows it's just like poof, poof, no disturbance. So any ideas of all of that, that's whatever is going to come out for the blessing and boon I am asking Mahaparameshiva to bless me with. It's just opinions, which is the thing is, that's what opinions are. Opinions are based off of someone's own mental setup, their network, and what Paramashiva God is showing them is possible for them. Has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. So with the different factions within Hawaiian Kingdom resorting to silence in their own civil war, different ones is over religious reasons, different ones is over who's king, different ones, and there are different reasons, and each person's is different. Their subjective truth, which everything is a subjective truth. So with all of these subjective truths and the law, and even the law has their own subjective truths, also with their vested interests, whatever those vested interests are. One of the things or ideas to bring people together for Hawaii Kingdom and their pilikia over king or whatever, is, bringing the peace treaty and signing of that peace treaty, the Hawaiian American peace treaty. Why not do it like the Constitution, where everybody who shows up gets to sign? That's a solution. That's an in the now solution, because who is living, and then be able to restart or whatnot as part of that story, right? To make things more beautiful, inclusive, teamwork. There are those who choose ancient deities or gods, and there are those who choose Christian gods. And that right there is more of an ego fight, right? Because Swamiji has beautifully said before, my God is better than your God is political correctness of saying, I'm better than you. No. Everybody has their piece. They don't have the piece. Because we're all here. That's one of the things I'm tired of. Not just within Hawaiian Kingdom, and that's the same narrative flowing through everywhere, including Hinduism. In Hinduism, the same, but larger, right? At least within Hawaiian Kingdom, it's kind of on the small side. When it comes to Hinduism, it's a much broader, with more individuals, with the same. So I'm over here looking at these broken records of same. It gets kind of boring. And that's like a broken record for what, hundreds, thousands of years. So technically what we're dealing with is the primordial ooze DNA of the collective, right? With that operating stuff. I've been sharing, and I know a lot of people probably not catching it, Hinduism has what is called Vakyarthasadas, and Vakyarthasadas is like a panel discussion. The panel discussion is not just there to talk, but the Vakyarthasadas means nobody's going anywhere until everybody is done speaking or countering. And it's a very methodical process of or someone speaking, they are allowed to share their perspective, and those who have questions must summarize that person's talk and then ask their question, so that it eliminates misunderstanding, proper perspective, actual meeting of the minds. And with all of this investigative, mediative research that I've been doing and compiling and mapping, how I've been doing it is side by side, person by person, what their narrative is and the timeline of Hawaiian history in different formats and all of these other stuff. But one of the things that I've been trying to do is to make a video presentation of that. But Cosmos beautifully stops me from being able to. I get drop kicked, trust me, when it comes to cosmic drop kicks of, nope, train, yep. Because what is actually most helpful is presenting my process and inviting, and then individually have them build that instead of me presenting it. And so that's what I'm proposing, to bring teamwork, communication by talking about the issue, not the person bringing the message, right? Keeping focus on the message or on the truths, facts, truths, evidences, and not getting to bypass the triggers, because that's what I'm noticing, that pretty much everyone has some kind of triggers creating meltdowns and ballistic explosive meltdowns. to the point where sometimes I can't even stay in the room because my entire nervous system is getting lit with violence. And it's only because of those triggers. And some triggers are genetic because of ancestry and the things that happen. Right. Thought, words, and deeds are recorded. Good, bad, doesn't matter. So that's what I'm proposing to share. And I will be continuing to share that, the how, because it just needs to get done. How and who and whatnot doesn't matter. It just needs to get done because time is life. I'm not here, I'm for others. Vested interests. I'm not here for others' vested interests. So everyone is talking about that spiritual warrior. Well, what does that really fundamentally boil down to and look like? Ensuring each individual protected connection that's unique versus corporate enslavement. Anyone using one specific banner is for ganging and bullying. And for me, the smallest right to defend is that of the individual. And I advocate that and those constructs for those who choose to flow individually. Not just on the local level. It's accepted if you have your own business, okay, that's your business. But when it comes to spiritually, it seems like, well, now it's a gang warfare. I'm against that completely. That's why I grasp when I try to communicate. There's a short circuit that happens for people because of from where I'm operating, and just completely no bullying, no ganging up, not into any of all of that at all. It's very ugly, nor honorable. It can go out of control rather quickly. Where does that come from? It comes from ego, overinflated ego. And when overinflated egos bonk heads, it gets pretty interesting to watch. It's not even interesting at all. It's the same stuff. It's actually kind of boring. There's more beautiful things to watch, like co-creation. We in dialogue, co-creating teamwork is far more dynamic, inventive than that narrative of bonking heads, my way, me. So, Hinduism also suffers the same situationship. When researching Kauai Monastery, and then and it took me about 18 months to go figure that out, because Hinduism is an umbrella term for 10,000 plus indigenous Aboriginal cultures and their traditions. There are many who are for all the Hindus. Well, what does that mean? Why don't we take a look at that? What does that mean? Is that a specific parameters? But I have a feeling all of that is due to the baseline constructs of groupings versus complete open architecture as I'm proposing, for that true all-inclusive celebration of life. And just dealing with the Hindus, which are not violent, but when you come across traditions and cultures who use rape, torture, murder, genocide as the first option, right? Versus cultures and traditions and peoples who that is not even part of their vocabulary, unless it's self-defense. Right? That's where, for me, I'm really not for military. I'm for martial artists all over the place who will defend where they are, right? So ladies, because I'm specifically talking to all the mothers, the women, females, women, ladies, mothers and grandmothers, what are we perpetuating? Because we are the last guardians of the actual walking temple of life, and based off of our decisions, we will be perpetuating that which we are marrying and having children. Okay? And those are some of the researches and stuff that I was doing and contemplating as well. How do you present this to inspire immediate change within one generation or two, right? Just immediate. It's an immediate thing. I will share the Japanese women who I feel are really on that cutting edge of women's rights by now their social construct and all of that, that aside, I'm only talking about their collective decision of rights as women and saying no completely to marriage, family, kids for like 40, 50 years, to the point where it's still in a negative population decline. And despite government programs encouraging women to get married and have kids with monetary incentives, they still said, no. Because why? They gotta work full time, raise the kids, clean the house, and what does their husband do? They just go to work with some inflated ego, come home and beat their family, beat their wife, beat their family, and they're like, yeah, I about had it. I'd rather go and earn for myself and do my own things. And then that thus ends up with all of these other social construct things that they have in the most dynamic spectrum and research and development, because the products and all of that. You can research that for yourself, but I'm just going to be focusing on that. So what are we doing, ladies? What are we perpetuating? Because children should be standing on our shoulders, not drop kicked to the ground. And it starts with those things. Who are we marrying? And what are we perpetuating? Like, sincerely, truly, universally, right? Universal truths. And enjoying the dynamic celebration of that life, of those unique traditions, cultures. Because that is food, dance, music, all of those things, right? So that's why I choose to call what I spearheading secular Hindu quantum catalyst fusionist. Because essentially, that's what it is, being a mother, and the Russian roulette of the merging and fusing of DNA, right, to give life. So what are we doing? I did like kind of think through the process of making side-by-side comparisons, right? But that's just like how people panic with AI, because it's just like sewing. If you hand sew versus the actual sewing machine stitches, and the disparity, right, of that, and you can sit there and practice to be a sewer and get better at it, but not too many are going to be inspired to do that, and then to be able to get so good to sew just as if a sewing machine sewed it, right? So AI, and that has that disparity and the fear that comes to mind because of the OCD perfectionists, right? Like for me, I'm just like, well, that's what it is. It's a tool. You go use that tool. Finish. There's nothing to feel personally any kind of fear on it. But doing that, especially when we're dealing with cultures and the disparity, or the spectrum, could say disparity of development, right? And we're all doing the best we can with what we have, fundamentally. So I'm still contemplating on that, how to present that, but I think possibly the best way is to just talk about it, and women will be making their own choices, right? Who they're going to choose to marry and live and perpetuate that, which is interesting. And a lot of that was triggered with all these beautiful things come across my into my reality, and this one particular Instagram channel. I'll put the link in the description later. It is from a daughter's perspective, what her mother and father's marriage is. It's very beautiful. And the way that she's sharing that is just very full of inspiration for couples to strive for. I don't know what they're religious or this and that, and it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter what food, spiritual practices, dance, music, prayer, meditation, whatever those combinations are for each one, fasting, right? Celebrations based on astrology or whatever, right? They're talking about personal conduct. When we look at the universal truths, all of the clothing or whatever, like for me, I got blessed with my own designs. I design and make my own clothes. And that's one of the things that should be, because it should be personal style expression, how that person is. And it should be unique. I really don't like the monocropping. Consciousness monocropping is spiritual terrorism, cultural genocide. Right? But looking at those conducts from that universal perspective that can simply be shared across the board, those are things worth watching, taking notes, inspiring, right? And that's from where I look at things. So yeah, I think I'm done for today. Yeah, tomorrow I will figure out how to share the modern method that I've been blessed and downloaded for the Vakyarthasalas to be implemented in mediation processes, not just for, you know, the situation I'm finding myself in war situations and stuff, but for a family, right? If it's lined up side by side for any dispute of anything, facts and evidences and this and that, that's fair and not accusatory or narrative or whatever, just check, 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 right? It would resolve a lot of things very peacefully without emotion, because a lot of times the emotion gets way out of hand. Yeah. So well, we'll see how this goes, because right now I'm in flow, because this is totally me constantly going into the unknown and trying to, like, what is the way, or what is the best way. But I am very, very grateful, and just thank Karma Shiva for that download, that what I'm actually doing is mediative. Investigative mediation. That's what been shown and downloaded today, and so I'm just very thankful for that, so that I can move forward properly with the right understanding and communication, because it's the communication that is key. So one could say, well, what do I have the right for that investigative mediation? Oh, I'm a third party trying to find out what's what, who's who, and what's what, and what is the actual thing, so that I can, because time is life, and I can start living my life, building my life with bliss, right? We all do. And I make the choices not to compromise on that integrity based off of what I find, which includes not participating in American infrastructural vehicles of invasion, because otherwise I would have a 501c3 and a bank account and doing all of the things that I would like to be doing, right? What would I like to be doing? I need a facility to be able to host programs, completion programs, or whatever programs that we have that will help the community get healed without pressure of doing anything. Because for us Hinduism is a lifestyle, and a vast majority of things I don't really too much share beyond just some of the stuff that are takeawayable for people to go and live without disturbing their social construct, but at least they're sorted. Because what is completion? Completion is meticulous inner sorting, removing pain patterns, depression, anxiety, all of that gets removed like that. I want to be doing that, right? But I don't have a 501c3. I don't have vehicles of invasion to contract to start doing stuff, right? Or a bank account, or whatever. So I'm asserting my rights and respect, and feel very blessed that that's what got downloaded to me today. So yeah, fresh off the press, if you will. But yeah, I'm kind of done. we'll see what comes out tomorrow, but I do want to share. I did make a graphic before on it, and then I did share it, and I did whatever. See, that's the thing, even within the Hindu community, because I'm female, right? And I'm very unorthodox. The box doesn't exist for me. Because we're talking about cutting karma and going straight through point A to point B, right? Not this. And well, no, if you want to go do that, anyway. So yeah. So I'm going to close with a Purna mantra. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavan Shri Nityananda Paramashivam Parakar Paramastu Om Nityanandam. Thank you so much for listening. You have a good evening. Aloha. Nityanandam.